Hello and welcome everybody. It is time for round number 11 at the eSeniors GT3 World Championship. It is time for Spa tonight. A certainly infamous track with one of the longest pit lanes and lots of action due to the very varied outside and inside loop that the cars will be taking on tonight here. My name is Niklas Kraus. I'll be bringing the show to you. It's brought to you as well by SimSport Solutions, and I'm very happy to be around here tonight 1 hour earlier than some of you might have expected, because as you might be aware, tonight is the night where the European soccer finals will take place in England, and it's going to be the Italian gentlemen against the Englishmen, and we might see a similar battle out here tonight, but obviously there might also be some German forces involved, represented there by Peter Wolfsleder. In our case, we didn't quite make the final in terms of soccer, but let's tend to the racing action now, shall we? Hope you've all had a fantastic weekend so far, and I'm looking forward to this broadcast. And due to the fact that we are scheduling this a little bit earlier, I'm pretty sure we are going to see most, if not everybody, out on track a little bit earlier during their personal days here as well. So, Spa to me is one of my favorite tracks because it's such a fantastic circuit to take on during endurance events, and this hour-long race that I've got brewing us on our hands here tonight will certainly prove the point. So I'm quite excited to see, because last time around, if you do remember, and if you did tune in to the Suzuka Grand Prix of Japan, we've had the pleasure of going around last time around, we saw that after an incident, Peter Wolfsleder only got second place and Andrea Caiola from Italy took the victory there, netting himself a wholesome 40 points in total. So a very, very nice boost there. Definitely establishing himself as that number 2, the runner-up during the season. And we've also had two fantastic other performances. We've had Patrizio Ongaro coming in third with just his second podium during the season already. He had the opportunity to go third as well at Paul Ricard only 3 weeks ago, was it? So I'm very happy to see the Nissan driver also making the most of the track, and I'm sure we'll see him up at the front here once again. And we've also had a very good showing by Bourne here, Chris Bourne, in his Mercedes AMG GT3. Did a wonderful job there last time round, and I'm super impressed with the fact that Rudolf Stein, for the first time, got himself 26 points on the race last time around at Suzuka. So a very nice step forward. Well, let's take a look at the standings together now, shall we? Here we go then, that's the standings here. In the group number 1, these are the strongest eSeniors you're going to find out there anywhere. And if you think that applies to yourself, then make sure you check out their Discord and have a look around, because these lads can do some fantastic racing on track. So, leading the championship by quite a margin, Peter Wolfsleder, and then 196 car definitely had out of the pack. Then Andrea Caiola, second place in the championship. He missed a couple of races, which puts him back a few points. Aston Martin driver, it's actually Porsche driver Carlo Van Brabant is currently third in the championship, just 1 point ahead of Derek Bird. It'll be very interesting to see how this battle pans out here. Then it's going to be Johan Walby ahead of Patrizio Ongaro, P5 and 6. Then it's Jonathan Wood and Rogerio Santos. Last time around, he got himself 22 points. Lars Eklund didn't attend at Suzuka, and David Noble is currently 10th. That's the top 10 in the championship. And we see here a very nice trend for Craig Holmes, netting himself 10 points 3 times in a row. How about that? That's a neat little statistic now, isn't it? And I'm very happy to see that Andreas Peterson also got himself a nice race last time around. Let's just leave it like this for brief second. So up ahead, Peter Wolfsen are leading, and I'm very interested to see what is gonna be up here tonight at Spa-Francorchamps. Let's use this time to talk a little bit about the track now, shall we? So Spa-Francorchamps is near the town of Francorchamps in Belgium. It's actually separated by a little river, which you can find if you're very, very nosy going around with your f7 camera. You can actually spot that out there. So as I already mentioned, it has a very technical second sector. So important to get yourself the right amount of downforce there if you want to keep it between the white lines. So track cuts also definitely gotta be on our agenda here tonight. Now moving on, we see that during the first and third sector we have the Cours Paul Frère, which heads out of Stavelot, which is basically that long final straight that is definitely one good opportunity to come closer to use some slipstream. And then obviously right after the Eau Rouge Radion complex we have the Camel Straight, which is an absolute prime overtaking spot, but so is it for incidents if the drivers aren't cautious. So I'm hoping to see a clean race start. Tonight we are expecting mostly cloud-free skies above, so I'm sure that they're just gonna take it slow and make the right choices here, trying to put the car well ahead in qualifying, and then making sure that during the race here tonight they're not gonna get themselves those 4 dreadful track cuts, which would send them around such a massive and long pit lane you wouldn't believe it. It's relatively to the track, it isn't so long, but the track is almost 2 minutes and 18-20 seconds long. Then you're basically bound to run into some errands at some point, and if you get those warnings accumulated, it's probably going to take 40-50 seconds out of your lap time. So it's really something you do have to be cautious with. And the track limits in real life, I don't know if you actually watched the broadcast there before, but they're super lenient. But in this game, the iteration here on Spa-Francorchamps is one where those track limits during the second sector especially can really bite you. And top of the Rouge as well, if you're going too far over the left and carrying just a shy bit too much speed, chances are you're gonna get a warning. So that's something they definitely have to take into consideration when racing around here. Do I perhaps lift or lose a position, lose a little bit of lap time, or do I potentially take that track cut? And at some point in time, those decisions will have to be made. And I'm sure everybody's already gotten themselves in the mindset where they know what they want to do here tonight. So greetings back now from chat. Wonderful that you're joining us here on this warm Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're watching. Nikos Margaritas once again in the chat, very welcome. And a beautiful evening here in Germany as well. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend so far. We can just crown it with a nice race here. What sort of temperatures are you having there, Nikos, at the moment? I'm pretty sure I read from you that it was maybe 35 or something degrees outside the last time we talked, when it was time for round 10. But here at round 11 at Spa, I would assume that it's cooled down a little. At least I hope so. I know that some of the lads in Western America or in Canada are experiencing some absolutely mind-boggling temperatures there this time of year. It's quite fuming out there. But we've got about 5 minutes still left in the session before we're heading out to this qualifying. And I'm excited to say we've also got some cheeky little changes going on in the background here. Basically keeping on working on this ACC TV tour might get ourselves some extra insights sometime this evening, or perhaps with the new patch when it does come out. Very excited to say that it's going on well, and we've also had some more close cooperation with the eSeniors guys, so it's fantastic that everything is falling into place. Now, I do have bad news after bringing you the good news. It is always a back and forth now, isn't it, in life? The bad news is, in this case, that I actually won't be talking to you next Sunday, but, and that is a big but, I do have a replacement, because I will actually be on vacation in Stuttgart, Germany, and won't be able to take on the broadcast, but I found a wonderful replacement with the name being Juan. So you're getting a Spanish one-time affair, and who wouldn't want the Spanish one-time affair? I'm just kidding, obviously. But I do think that it's going to still be an absolutely fantastic broadcast when you're tuning in next Sunday here, when it is time to face new challenges. Right on over. Let me just quickly have a check here. It's going to be around 11 then at Silverstone. Oh, Silverstone is a spicy one. Certainly like Spa in some ways or the other. Very technical sections, and then some longer straights where the straight line speed can very much shine. So around 10 here, it's Spa, and I'm fairly sure that we'll again see a nice battle here up at the front. It's 31 degrees Celsius now, and 1 hour before sunset. So here it's just before 7, so an hour earlier, and right now I'm actually located in Bonn, which is somewhat close to Cologne, so in Western Germany, and I'll be taking the trip about 3.5 hours or so to meet a friend of mine who I actually have not met before, but he is the owner of a VR lounge, you could say. They have some very nice equipment there, and I've been waiting to actually get to know him a little bit better. We do have a sim racing event happening there on site as well on Saturday. It's somewhat of an expo format, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an all around fantastic time. We've got a couple of guests coming over, some, how do I say this best, well, you could say it's talks. It's like a little TED talk about racing from some of the BMW factory esport drivers. So that's quite exciting. So it's gonna be a nice little event we'll have going on for ourselves. So it's just 1 minute until qualifying here, and we're all getting ourselves ready to head out on track. We've seen that Caiola certainly has good pace. During this practice session, one of his best laps was a 17.8, but it is now time to go on the track and to have a look what all of these drivers can do. I'm getting all of this settled in for you so we can have the best experience out there on track. A couple of cars already leaving the pit lane here, and you hear it in the background now. It's a wonderful little opportunity we have here on a Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, depending on where you are watching, getting these the fastest, the strongest out of the bunch in the eSeniors. That's the Group 1 drivers being led on track as well by Peter Wolfsley, and we'll bring that up for you in just one hot moment. And enjoy the warm but sunny track that is Spa-Francorchamps for you. On we go then. Here we have him, the man on a mission here tonight. He's hoping to redeem himself in a sense. Last time there was some contact with Caiola on lap 1. There wasn't really enough room being left by either of the two drivers. Bit of a racing incident, but he'll look past that tonight. You're round number 10 here, the lead lap. Esport racing driver. Let's actually take out this on the side. There you go. A little more screen space for you. There we go. So I would say we take it on board here with Peter Wolfsleder for one lap of Spa, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So on we go then into the cockpit and onto turn number 1 here. Heavy on the brakes into La Source. Usually it's in first gear. Now holding the gears, going up the hill and preparing ourselves mentally for this absolutely mental hill climb. You see it ahead of ourselves. Heavy to the left into a Rouge dip there. That's the river you're feeling below your tires there. Yours, he uses all of the track and then some. Very, very track positive there. He's got everything going. And now onto the camel straight. Looking on the left hand side, 100-meter board into Le Camp, which is this fourth turn here, second gear, right on the round, on the brakes, just slightly into Malmedy. Now dropping it down the hill into Bruxelles. It's fourth to first. You don't want to brake too early. Want to get some nice speed in and hold it right around there. Wonderfully done. Now this double left-hander here, just a slight dash on the brakes is all you need to get the car to turn in. And now this one is a tricky one. Fifth to third is what he'll be using. 170 kilometers before we're already on the power, using all of the downforce available to ourselves to make the car turn around. Now heavy on the anchors. Lafont, this left, right and left combination, second gear, and you really want to get on the power early here. He does so nicely in third gear. Campus is this right-hander, turn 15, then Stavelot. Boom, he brings it in there from the far outside, seems to find all of the traction that he's looking for, so he's on a very quick lap so far. Blanchimont is this nice little left-hander in GT3s. It'll be down one gear potentially. No, he's going to be taking that absolutely flat on out. 250 there. I see on the speedo before we're on the brakes. Once again, this bus stop chicane, first gear, dropping it on there quite heavy. Wonderful lap so far. Let's see what it brings to him. And there we go. Fastest lap then. 2:17.7 for Peter Wolfsleder. That's one hell of a lap. Spring on here, Alessandro Diamante did very well last time around, 2 in qualifying, 5/10 off. Caiola in second place, then across the line, Nifosi goes 4th quickest. Now we're seeing here Tony Whitten, he had a good race last time around as well. Coming across the line, Haybound Racing driver with a 17, can only do a 2:20 at the moment. Neil Bywater, non-valid lap there. Krista Hjort then going 6th quickest. The 2:20 of his own. Chris Baker here on the Rotec Racing is only now coming onto his flying lap. Craig Holmes coming across start finish now is 7th quickest with a 2:20.6. And David Noble, an invalid lap for him then. He'll have to take another try at that. Alistair Hughes then, 7th quickest. Very close mid-pack here. And we're seeing up at the front only 1.2 tenths separating the two quickest drivers here. Jorgen Walby sent off screen for you. Very interesting to see what he can do here in the 47. There we go. I actually had the volume muted. Only realized that just now. So he goes 4th quickest then, about 1.1 seconds off the pace, and coming across the line. Rudolf Stein then. 2:19.2, very respectable for his first attempt. Patrizio Ongaro, only 8th quickest. He finished 3rd last time around. I think there might actually have been an overtake there. What happened there? It's the purple number 1180 of Chris Bourne. Goes on ahead and sets a 4th quickest lap here of the session so far. Very nice improvement. Very good step forward there. So I'm trying to set all of this up. Peter Wolfsliner here on another flying attempt. He's already leading, but he seems to have found another couple of tenths he's looking to bring home. He's going to cement himself up in first position. Coming across the finish line now, and it's going to be a 2:17.6 new purple lap then. And we also have it here. It's a fastest second sector during that lap as well. So a very good step forward then. I think we just saw Alessandro Diamante going second, quickest than a 2:17.7. Very close and very much on pace here with that Ferrari of his own. Tony Whittenhand could go well above, jumping a couple of positions, 14th to 11th. He goes. Good step forward there, and I also have the feeling Krista Hjort is going to improve. P12 for him. Now, for the first valid lap, Chris Baker is going to put up a 2:20.5. Nice step forward there for Craig Holmes. He goes 12th quickest in that Bentley of his. Number 2 car, David Noble, still not with a valid lap. He'll have to figure out track limits if he wants to set the time now. He's got 12 minutes to get the job done. Alistair Hughes then going 13th with a 2:20.0. Very close to Craig Holmes then. And the second sector basically matching. Quite close stuff here. Number 47 then, Jürgen Walby could not improve on this attempt, but I'm sure he'll have the fuel to take it round one more time. Rudolf Stein now, Red Nose Racing number 14 driver, could get the jump on Jonathan. He does so. Canadian AMG driver here, moving to the 6th position. Now Carlo hasn't set a lap yet and won't do it this time around either. The West Coast Origin eSenior is still without a valid lap time during this qualifying session. Now Chris Bond across the line, no improvement here. Same for Dimitri Status. They had to figure out who's ahead and who isn't. Now Mark Pocock across the line, still no valid lap here to be found either. So we're seeing a couple of cars, Eklund, Neutelings, Noble, Vanderband, Arobas and Pocock all still missing that valid qualifying attempt, which is also crucial to get around. So Nikos, let me have a quick look at the chat here. Lived in several locations in Germany for almost 20 years. Never in Cologne or Bonn though. Closest I was to Mönchengladbach for about a year. Ooh, we see a big spin there, Mark Pocock. Ooh, that's gonna compromise his qualifying attempt as he's now being overtaken on the pit exit. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Don't think I've been there for long though. We do have to come back to the racing action, unfortunately. P3 then for Lars Eklund, 2:18.5. That sets him 0.795 off the pace right now. So good step forward. Neil Bywater also with some time. He's going to bring himself up to P16, chasing him closely. Krista Hjort not able to improve. P10 right now, Chris Baker. Wow, nice step forward. A 2:19.4 is the lap time he needs to get there. Craig Holmes not able to improve this time around. Before we get in this nice little round, David Noble to 20.2. That's a good step forward. It's the AMG driver number 2 coming across the line. It's a nice little lap he's got himself going. Jürgen Walby might be able to make the jump here into the front rows. Let's see what he does. Coming across the line, he's found 7 tenths. That is enough for P3 to 18.2 as he squeezes himself onto the second row of the grid. Wonderful drive there. Let's see if he can find even more pace. Rudolf Stein won't be able to improve, but Patrizio Ongaro might. He's right now in P10 of his own. In the SFR Italia, no improvement in terms of the position here. 118 driver Chris Bourne also with a little bit of lap time, but he has to find at least 3 tenths to make some significant steps forward on that leaderboard, so he'll stay 8th for now. Tony Whitten only now coming onto the next flying lap. We saw him there almost making contact with Mark Pocock on the top of the pit exit. So yeah, coming back to you, Nikos, I've also lived around 20 years here. I'm actually only 23, as some of you might know. But I've spent most of the most of my life around the Rhineland here. Really, it's a wonderful little region. Beautiful nature as well. But you can make some nice city grabs around, but I do have to check in here. Andreas Caiola, he has the potential to put himself up front. How close is that? Andrea Caiola by only 0.003 of a second, just behind Peter Wolfslaner there. Wow, how close is that? Just one corner, one little exit would have been the difference. Do or die. In this case, you'll have to give it another try. To 17.6 is the time to beat at the moment. If you want to be starting in the front row, that's the sort of pace you'll have to go. So very competitive here, as we are now witnessing Giovanni Nifosi head for another flying lap. Alistair Hughes now on the brakes for the bus stop chicane. He's found about a 10th. Let's see if he can carry that across the line. Could be enough to jump that rivalry Bentley of Craig Holmes. No, he does not. He gets closer, he nudges him a little bit, but not enough to take the position here. Jorgen Warby coming across start-finish line, no improvement here. And Dimitri Statis still only sitting in a 2:21, which is about 3.8 seconds off the pace. He'll probably find some more pace around here. Rudolf Stein, no improvement this time. Let's have a look. Car number 4 belongs to Carlo Van Brabant, of course, in the Porsche. Right now P12 and makes it P11 then, shoving Chris Baker down one position here. Nice improvement. As he's looking to set another flying lap. He's already found 2:10s here in the first little corner. Across the line for the next flying lap here. Peter Wolfsliner was headed to the pits, or at least seemed to have taken out the pace a little bit on his last attempt. It's very close here up at the front, and I would imagine to see Andrea Caiola jumping to the front. Tony Whitten then, no improvement, but just barely. Neil Bywater just right next to Chris Bourne, only now coming onto some new flying laps. Lots of drivers have come into the pit lane. Same goes for Krista Hjort here in the Hjort in Texas. So we are indeed seeing some tire changes now a little bit later during the qualification effort. Mark Neuterlings only now with the first flying lap. There you go. Number 666 driver was a little bit late to the party, but he knows that he can shine in that 666. Going 12th quickest then with that SimSpot racing. Lots of Bentleys around here. We're seeing P17, P16, and also in the hands of Bentley drivers. We did barely miss how Caiola got the fastest new time. Sorry about that. FD Racing Department driver Andrea Caiola now up at the front. But for how long can he keep it there? 2:17.4 at the moment is the quickest time. But I'm sure now that the track is officially well and beyond optimum. Alistair Hughes then, nice improvement. Still P17. Peter de Jong now on next flying lap. So what I was about to say is we are seeing some nice improvements all across the board. Seems that the track is just now settled in. Dimitri Statis jumping Neil Bywater then with that improvement of his. John Forter. Don't think we've seen John before, at least I don't recall. He's 14th in this, what I presume to be his debut race here. So good stuff there. Carlo going from 11 to the position number 8. Good jump forward, and let's have a look at this one. Peter Wolfsliner might just do it. He might set an absolutely esports time if this is valid, but it is not. Alright, it looked like he was about to go almost a second quicker on Caiola then. Looks like he still have to chase a little bit of lap time. Tony Whitten now. Let's see what he can do. Going 10th quickest with a 2:19.1. Preferring Bayern and Bahn though. That's where I'll be going. So I can come back with some good feedback. I haven't lived there. I've only been around in terms of tourism and visiting other fantastic people there. Andrea Caiola settling into 17.2. That's the new fastest lap of the session. Purple lap then. for Andrea Caiola, and Craig Holmes might also find a little improvement. Yes, he does, but it's not enough to jump John Forter and rob him off this position there. Rudolf Stein now with the next flying lap. Giovanni Nifosi, no improvement here. Very close up at the front here. Patrizio Ongaro also with the next flying lap. Starting just now, and let me have a brief look around the grid. Who's got a little bit of time? Peter still. 2/10 at the moment is what he can put out in terms of his potential. I'm sure that he can find a little bit more time if he keeps on trying. But if Andrea Caiola can align the stars, he's currently got the fastest second and third sector. That could be enough for him to bring home a significant qualifying finish for himself here, because if you're starting up in front, you've got good chances of running away with it. John Forter now in at number 68 across the line, going 15th quickest. Looking good still. He is right on the pace where he wants to be. So Lars Eklund, I think we also barely missed. He went 4th quickest in the midst of it in that 6.96. I have to once again have a quick follow-up. Peter Wolfslehner. Is he going to jump to the front? Is he going to set the new fastest time? Across the line he goes. He does not. And look how close it is. Only 1/10 is what he's shy of setting himself up at the front of the grid here. Having a quick look down the order. David Nobel. Only now with the opportunity. He's got 1 minute 40 still left on the clock, so most of these cars, such as Andrea Caiola, are not going to have much of an opportunity still left in here. Christa Hjort now crawling across the line. 19th is where he'll stay. So not enough of an improvement, but Mark Neuterling is hot down the sim spot racing Bentley. Let's see if that is a valid lap, and it sure is. Going 6th quickest then with the last minute efforts. He still has one more opportunity. Craig Holmes as well. Sensing some improvement from the cars ahead, but he can't quite follow that up. Jorgen Warby then. That almost looked like somebody was off, but only it is not. Good to see it's all good here. Patrizio Ongaro still right around there. He's only going to have one more flying lap. And Chris Bourne now, 219.1, still cannot quite improve, as we are all catching these cars as they're coming across the line. And some of them have already put it back into the pit lane. So Stain, obviously, for example, in the number 14, cannot improve if he's in that pit lane, pit box of his, so he'll have to settle with position number 11 here at the best. Peter Young now improving by 1 spot ahead of Neil Bywater, making that Porsche do the work. Let's see if Neil can follow that up. He's got one more shot at this. Coming across the line only just now in time. John Forter looks like he is gonna stop his qualifying effort right then and there. Number 196 driver, and this is the... yep, he did not make it across the line in time, so that is going to be qualifying over for Peter Wolfslehner. He's headed straight into the pit lane. Now David Nobel is currently 18th quickest. That would be good qualifying finish. But Andrea, you got it just right, Nico. He's absolutely nailed the lap. And I'm curious to see if Peter can follow that up during the race. We're seeing a 2:17.2, 2:17.4, and then Diamante 17.7. All very strong laps here. Up at the front, David Noble now coming across the line. 18th quickest. He does get a hold of Alistair Hughes' position, moving to 17th. Then Christa Hjort is off, so is the number 109. Jorgen Warby isn't going to improve either by the looks of it, so it seems to only be Peter de Jong who definitely pushed it a bit above the limit what his Porsche could do, and only Chris Bourne could still improve here at the end of this 25-minute qualifying session in round number 10. Let's see how it goes for him. On the brakes here, very heavy, want to put it just to the inside there. He does so neatly, getting him out 2/10 there. It could be enough for him to leapfrog to P6 here. See what he can bring across the line. It is not going to be enough. 2:18.7 for Chris Bourne then. Just now finish up his qualifying effort. Neil Bywater as well. Still right on round there in that white and blue Porsche of his, sending it all the way around. He's a little bit wide there. And Jeremy Arobas got it right in the chat. You see it there. Very close times. Please take it easy on the first corners, gentlemen. And he's got that just right. Let's bring it over to the holding screen while I'm getting you set up for this wonderful 45-minute race here. My name is Niklas Krause, and as always, I hope you enjoy it, because this is one hell of an event you don't want to miss. If you're out there now interested, 50 years and above, that sounds like you. Make sure you join the Discord, because we've got some fantastic racing action going on. Every week, different classes, different levels. If you see those times are a little bit too quick for you, we've got you covered. We've got just the right thing, because we have the GT4s, we have group 3, 2, and the quickest ones out there. That's group number 1. Now this time around, again, being led by the Aston Martin. If I can bring it all in there, of Andrea Caiola, number 67. Just now getting settled for the session. I want to have a brief look here together with you. Down the order, we've only got about 50 seconds before they're heading to this full formation lap. Let's bring it up for you now, shall we? The lights are still red, but that doesn't mean these drivers aren't mentally preparing for the race. They're already racing in their minds, I would imagine. And leading the pack here is in your first spot on the grid. It's Andrea Caiola from Italy. Not sure if that is an indication of what will happen in soccer here tonight. I'm just kidding, obviously. Peter Wolfsliner then joining him on the first row of the grid. Ahead of the second row, that's 2 more Ferraris there. 2, 3, 4. What a lockout there. Alessandro Diamante next to Lars Eklund, who had a very good lap at the end of the session here for him. Jorgen Wolby then the second Aston on the grid next to Mark Neutelings in that 666 Bentley to our right hand side. It's then Giovanni Nifosi on the fourth row of the grid. Chris Bourne, as I've apparently messed up with disabling this camera. So apologies for that, as we now... that only looks like a short start now, doesn't it? That seems to me like a short start, so we don't want to miss out on that. Let's bring up the TV1 cam here from the front already. So a bit of an unexpected change. So I'll just go through the grid as quick as I can. Nifosi then Bourne. Jonathan Wood ahead of Carlo Vanderben in the number 4. Rudolf Stein and Witten. Then it's Ongaro, Baker, Holmes, Forter, Noble. Then it's Hughes, Hjord, Pocock, Starters, Peter de Jong, Neil Bywater. As we're already green, hardly any time for me to get this covered. And what a start then from Caiola. He's already well and gone. Super good stuff then. It's a good run as well for the 2 Ferraris. Looks like Wolby got the line just right here, right on in the middle. Let's bring up the TV2 shot then with Nifosi in P6, very much on the tail end there. He's got the jump on Eklund, it seems. To the inside he goes then. Oh, what a close fight here. Luckily no contact so far, as these are still too wide. Figuring out who goes where now. With the door left open, that's going to be a disaster for Neutelings, who drops back a couple of positions into 9th then. On the brakes, hard and heavy, as we're side by side here in the background. Must have been the 2 cars of Patrizio Ongaro, as well as, I think that might have been the number 109 of Holmes then. I want a quick check up here of Ron Votter. Is super close here to the inside. He looked for a split second, but thinks better of it. And that number 68 during its debut race here tonight. Alistair Hughes super close. We see it in the background here as well. About 3/10. And I think that might have been Ongaro getting past Tony Witten then, if I'm not mistaken.
So Peter de Jong also up into 20th now. Good step forward, and they're fighting side by side here. Krista Yord and Mark Pocock. Let's see what the Porsche can do with some neat little slipstream. Yord and Texas Ferrari driver with the number 823 very much under close fire here. And up at the front, it looks like things are somewhat settling. Chris Bourne and Giovanni Nifosi are definitely fighting, and we're also seeing a side-by-side just a little bit ahead. Same story with David Noble, who will just tag out right in time. And we're seeing a beautiful grid of cars flocking down the start-finish straight now for the second time. And we have Cayola up at the front ahead of Wolfslein, about 0.6 of a second separating the two. Then it's Lars Eklund, Jorgen Wolby, Alessandro Diamante and Nifosi, who are currently following in the ORT. Upper Rouge, very difficult on the first couple of laps when the tires aren't still there. Looks like it's gonna be just fine. Now he is side by side, if I can get it right. John Forter then against Tony Whitten once again. We're seeing a nice side by side there between Pocock in the background as well, and Krista Hjort by the looks of it. Heavy on the brakes, and that looks like an orange Bentley of Neuterlings then. Losing out very heavily, and there's almost contact in the background here. Mark Pocock gaining 2 places in the midst of it. And Carlo Vanderbrand also moving past just before the accident happened. So very, very unfortunate then. We're seeing lots of position changes with some early incidents here, and I do have to jump back up to the front because it's fairly close between Wolfslina and Cayola here as well in the fight for the lead. The fight between these two rivals, P1 and P2 in the championship as well. We've seen that fairly close during the qualifying. Now the question becomes, where are they in terms of the race pace? And he might still be in the slipstream here. It could be an opportunity for him to close that gap down in the Lead Lab Esports Racing. Now up and around, slight bit of dirty air is what he'll be getting. And 4 tenths only between Eklund and Wolby in the background here as well. And it's once again Aston Martin against Ferrari, the duel of the night, duel of the fates. Who will bring home the points and whose race will spell disaster? Craig Holmes here in P12. Originally he did start in P15, so it's a nice step upwards. Only car that's really involved in an unfortunate early accident is Mark Neuterlings from 6th position. He's now way down the order. You see him at the bottom of the grid there in P23. John Forter still very much in striking distance. If there's any sort of mistakes by Tony Whitten ahead, he'll be there to strike. So let's jump on board here and follow these two eSeniors fighting closely up to 6th gear then for the Porsche before they're heading up the hill. I'm trying to find that straight line speed. I think Jorgen Wolby just got past Eklund, so we'll have to go back 30 seconds here, and yeah, let's quickly do that. So Lars Eklund then. Let's bring up the replay here. And there he goes up the hill, and he's all the way sideways, spinning at 180, and then once more to make it a full 360. Wow, what was that? Lars Eklund somehow salvaging it, despite a massive moment on top of a Rouge. He just got it under control enough. What a move, what a moment there for Lars Eklund. Wow. It wasn't what he wanted, but it's fantastic to see that he's doing that sort of that. He's just styling us now, isn't he? John Porter also side by side is trying it around the outside. We might now have a line. We might now have him very much in his sights into campus and then Stavelot. He'll look to get the right exit. Baker very much on his tail end as well. He's making it a 3-way fight now. Forte Racing. It's a debut race here, and he's bringing lots of heat into the equation. It's very close here in between these two. Craig Holmes and Patricio Ongaro also super close. Bring up the helicam and have a look how close this one gets as we're heading into the bus stop chicane. Very different lines by all three of the drivers here. Now onto the brakes. John Votter leading Chris Baker and Alistair Hughes here. And once again, you can almost paint in three different lines equally. And they seem to be getting good exits either way. And a much more active chat now. Fantastic that you're all tuning in. Stefan Buckley, Derek Bird, Kai Schaefer. Wanted to have you up in the chat here as well. Hope we've had a fantastic week and are now prepared to get hold of some good racing action. Chris Bond has got the slipstream of Giovanni Nifosi in this fight for P5. Axel Vircher, Motorsports pilot, is now looking to the inside at the end of the counter straight. Will he get the opportunity? Very late decision there on the braking that he's forced to go around slightly to the outside. Only about 2 tenths separating the cars here at the moment. The 118 certainly did have the pace advantage up the hill, and he's definitely going to send it by the looks of it. Heavy on the brakes then. He's managed to make it stay there. Is the door going to be closed? Yes, just in time. What a defense. Giovanni Nifosi did not give him room there. Very respectful driving. Now he's going to have another opportunity. Chris Bond to the inside, and he's got some good overlap as we're now heading down the hill. Heavy braking zone. Did he go too deep? No! Chris Bond spots it just right and tucks into 5th position there. Wonderful move. Wonderfully set up. And now side by side in the background, Carlo Vanderbrand against Jonathan Wood. Yeah, they're going to make it get clean. So, yes, it looks like he's going to hold onto this for now. And this makes it a 3-way fight. After a massive spin, Lars Eklund salvaged the car in a 696 and is still very much in contention for some great points here. He's still in the top 10. And now he's got to run. He's definitely got to run. Let's jump to the rear wing cam and have a look at this. Carlo Vanderbrand is going to have a Ferrari sneaking up ever so slightly during the straight. He's got to slightly lift to increase the gap, not to make any mistakes too early in the race here. We still have 35 minutes, but that is going to open the door here potentially for Rudolf Stein. All of these in the top 10. Very close fight. Oh, that's Peter Wolfslehner. Oh, he didn't have a fantastic race. There was contact last time around already. Let's bring up the replay here. What happened to Peter? That is what I have to know. I think it might have been the car was a little too slow for the TC to kick in perhaps, but time will tell. Looks like it's a very stable exit here so far, and he's just gonna pull over. He's just gonna pull over. That must be some technical difficulties there. And there it is. That is the race over for Peter Wolfslehner. He is not on the server anymore either. Something must have happened. We hope for the best for him, that everything is alright with Peter Wolfslehner, but we certainly won't be seeing him in the interview booth. Derek Bird also. Brooker Gaming in the chat cheering on for Water. Wonderful to see. But yeah, what happened there? It's the race over so early then for Peter Wolfslehner after what appears to be some technical difficulties. Perhaps we can get some clarification by him in the chat if that's possible. But either way, that means 1-2 for Aston Martin, Cayola and Rabi, ahead of Alessandro Diamante in 3rd. Then it's Chris Bond. It's going to be Giovanni Nifosi in 5th. Then Jonathan Wood, Lars Eklund in 7th. And Vanderbrand, Stein and Ongaro as your top 10. There's some very close racing here, but that is very unfortunate. Maybe in an emergency. I do hope it's all okay, Nikos. And I do also have to agree with Derek Bird. I think football is coming true, but if they don't have a poor game tonight, I think they have what it takes to bring it home. Go on, Jay Wood. Jonathan, let's bring him up on screen. The cool green. What a cool green that is. He's carrying it around in the bus stop chicane here. Let's jump back just briefly because there's a side-by-side between Craig Holmes here. Let's jump on board and have a look. Saint or Sinner, driver number with a 109 here, is going to be on the brakes, and that looks very deep there from the Nissan. Manages to just make it stop in time, carrying some good speed around the apex actually. That was much cleaner than I thought it'd be. It's wonderful stuff there. I think Water might have gotten past Witten then. We're having another quick look. Yeah, Witten drops back, and that means P12 now belongs to John Water. But back to the action between Craig Holmes. Here they come. Very similar liveries. Slightly different colors. Makes you wonder if they are somewhat working together to bring home a P10 here. But they are definitely fighting when it comes to this on-track action. Definitely is looking to the inside, and any sort of mistake. And these 2-3-10s separating these two drivers here, that is a great opportunity here to just chuck it up the inside and take a position easy peasy. Especially during this downhill, it's quite easy. Would have been down the grid, but my lapse times weren't that good. Oh, Derek, don't worry. You'll get your showing next time around, I'm sure of it. I mean, you're still P4 in the championship. And you get those points, right? Candidate for the podium no matter what track. Agreed, yeah? I think Derek is doing mighty fine. Whenever we see him on track, there's always a great chance we're going to have fantastic action, great fights, and definitely great pace as well. Moving on over here. In this slipstream pack, battle for P5 is Nifosi ahead of Wood and then Lars Eklund. This might be the one. This might be the one. To the inside he goes then. Late on the brakes with the Porsche. Very late indeed. And we've seen the gears come into play. Second gear then first. It's the very cautious side-by-side action then. Jonathan Wood is now to the outside. Ooh, little love tap. Want to show each other some elbows. We both want to move to the outside now, don't we? He suggestively asks him. Now, no cutback there. He just got the nose in, and what a move then. Lars Eklund going back, claiming that position. And he's now riding in P6 from Sweden in the Lackland Ferrari. Let's see what they do coming up the hill. Now in some bad air. Looks like that doesn't phase him much at all. Jonathan Wood still carrying on. Mighty fine. But he does seem to come under fire. Let's see what Carlo does. Carlo just takes it from him. He mugs him. Right away he takes the inside line. That almost looked too easy. Wow, so it's going to be Jonathan Wood dropping back 2 positions here in the matter of 2 corners. Hey, Tocino Rapido. Welcome to the chat. Getting some good racing in, and that's the first drive-through for Dimitri Status. You see him on the bottom left there. Dimitri Status will be starstruck in that sim race in Montreal. He didn't have fantastic qualifying, and now the drive-through has come to strike. I'm sure there's going to be more throughout the race, but either way, that's not what he was looking for at all. Neil Bywater then, in striking distance. Not a fantastic run there for the Ferrari. Bring up the TV2. He's going to go to the inside then, that 38. Looks like he can maintain that position, so great move then. He's going to get past Christo Yard in that 8-3 Ferrari. After using just one little mistake, he opened up the gap and put his car exactly where it needed to be. Ooh, Tony Whitten then, I think, lost a couple of places. Let's go back 30 seconds and have a look. What caused that misery? So it's looking all good here. I think that must have been the mistake. Just on the exit, the Ferrari here is very unstable on some of the curbing. Can sometimes snap on you if you're not quite running enough TC. I think we must have missed it then. Yep, no issues there. You already see that the side is slightly damaged though. That means Tony Whitten is now back to P17 only. Not what he was hoping for. Just ahead of him is the fight here. And this could be a great opportunity. David Noble chasing Peter de Jong. And it is absolutely on point here for the number 2. Because this is just the run he needs. Up the Orush Rodion complex they go. And now he has got the straight line. He has got exactly the scenario he is hoping for. And thank you very much for the kind words, and it's a close fight in the background as well. It looks like Neutelings against Whitten. Not quite close enough for David Noble this time. And Peter Lafrance. Do I say La France, like in the country, or how's that pronounced? I do thank you for the kind words there. Oh, did he just go to the inside there? That looked like a bit of a dive there for Neutelings, but looks like he just was faking the move there, just striking some fear into the opponents, and apparently the commentator as well. Thanks, Nikos. Appreciate it. I do try to bring you some good action, but it isn't just me. It's these drivers on the track that are doing the work for you, lending me the opportunity to cast such exciting racing. Would you have a look at that? Jonathan Wood was overtaken by Carlo Vanderbrand and Eklund in that fight back, but looks like he is nagging on that delta, trying to bring the two cars closer together in that fight for position 7, and now on the brakes. That seems to be a specialty in the Coolgreen number 71. Heavy on the brakes, and he just spots it. And look how close that gets in between the two here. Once again, 5/10s just in between the two. Having a quick look down the order here. Looks like Peter de Jong and David Noble are also side by side here once again. AMG used the opportunity, closed the gap, and you saw there, Tony Whitten against Neutelings is still a fight that is absolutely not over here. We see him in the background to the inside. He goes then. Neutelings, that's the 666 Bentley in the background. He's putting his orange nose down and under in T1. That is what he was hoping for. That is exactly the move you need into La Source. Decisive, fair, and with a fantastic exit. That is wonderful stuff there. Mark Neutelings then claiming that position, because you do have to keep in mind he originally started in P6 at fantastic pace, but he did get involved in an early incident. So that means he is there just fighting at the back very late there on the brakes. David Noble getting all out of shape there for a brief second before regaining control of his car. Looks like that slipstream has got himself a little racing high then. Let's hope he can keep it nice and clean in this fight for P15. Right on against Peter de Jong. Jumping back with Lars Eklund here. He's been roaming through the field. He made quick work of Vanderbrand and Wood. Now he's got a new car up in his sights. The Eklund 696 Ferrari here against Nifosi. That'll be his next challenge to tackle. Last lap for him was about 2/10 quicker. Now with a slipstream of the Ferrari ahead of him, that's 63. This might be the one. This might be a good run here. With only 4/10s, we're going to be jumping on board. Jack Jacobs, and yeah, good to see Diamante back. Yeah, certainly. Last time around, if we're having a look, Diamante... Oh, late on the brakes, is that gonna do? Lars Eklund, oh, that's contact! Oh, it was looking so good, and he'll have to get a move on, get out of the way. Lars Eklund then, with the contact there, we're gonna be going back 30 seconds. Looks like he'll be waiting up. Fair play then, fair and square that he's still waiting a little bit, but he was so late. He had a great run. He had the opportunity into the braking zone, but he didn't quite communicate it right on in time then. And now as they're going onto the brakes, then to the inside he goes. He can hardly still fully on the brakes, as now basically the Ferrari head cuts him off then slightly. And that is car spinning right on around. Super unfortunate then. as we are seeing, hold on, I think it hasn't even updated yet. No, it doesn't seem to have updated yet. Wait, I'm looking for the Ferrari. I think that might have been Nifosi. Yeah, Nifosi. Ooh, that's gonna be a retirement then. For the 63, he had such a good race, and all it took was one little tap, too little room being given. That is the end of it. Mark Neutelings then all sideways as well. What is a big... It's a big crash! Neutelings then making heavy contact there with Tony Whitten. Oh, they're gonna be furious about that one. He's out. That's the retirement then. He had a great recovery until then. He's on the outside now of the AMG number 2 of David Noble. He's got him cleared, and now he has to spot the braking point and see what happens here. Heavy on the brakes, and both of them missing the braking point. He's sideways then coming onto the curb, and there's nothing he can do. He does not hold the brakes. He actually does try something quite experimental, heading back onto the gas then to move the Bentley out of the way, but that was all in the moment. Nothing that could have been done. So it's the second retirement in the same lap here. Disaster for the Bentley driver. Oh, yo, yo. So unfortunate then. So unfortunate. Yeah, you have to go back and have another look. He really did want to just get out of the way, but there was hardly any room. He didn't quite hold the brakes, and then that was the time when contact was made. So this is another retirement then. Good recovery, but... Alistair Hughes, hello? That's a little too early to be doing donuts there, Mr. Alistair. He's going to be paying 2 positions for that stylish accident. It's happy little accident, as we like to call it. Ding. Now that's something I actually want to talk about with you guys, because the Bentley, and in addition to some other cars, has quite a unique TC. And the problem with that uniqueness comes because the thing is, it only activates after you reach a certain speed. So say if you're going below maybe 60 kilometers, right around there, I think it's around 62 kilometers when it only activates. That means if you're hitting the full throttle while you're too slow, while you're kind of waiting in these so slow sections, you're not going to have any traction control. It's going to be basically like a Cup Porsche. It's going to send you spinning around. If you don't know about that quirk, it sends you flying. It sends you spinning around in circles, and that's exactly the experience that Alistair Hughes just had. So kids, do be cautious. And it's very unfortunate. Yeah, I do have to agree. For Tony Whitten as well, caught up in the incident. Let's have a look where he is on track. Tony Whitten now with a severely bruised front and left-hand side. Now starting to get lapped. I think that is Wolfslehner in the background. Actually, no, I was just expecting Wolfslehner to be lapping. But that is obviously not the case due to the fact that he's had his pull back to the pit lane. Getting a little bit feisty here between Tony Whitten. He's not having a fantastic race, and he's gonna just open up the steering then, and look how unfortunate the front end of that Ferrari looks. Such a good effort by Tony Whitten. Nothing he could do there, just being collected in the process, making way for Mark Pocock, who takes that 17th position. So, we're already past the halfway point. Let's have a look at the standings here. Hardly any time to breathe for us, with so much action happening on here in the eSeniors round number 10 at Spa. The GT3 races in group number 1 are certainly something to have a look. Thank you very much for tuning in. The race leader right now is Andrea Caiola. He already won last time around, and seemingly some technical difficulties or an emergency, but on Wolfslehner's end, who was second place, but is now fallen back to all the way to P20 then. He's probably not going to score many points here tonight, but either way, it's a fair and square race here. Caiola certainly got the pace. It's 2:18.5, his quickest lap. That makes him 6/10 quicker than anyone else on the grid. Now, second place at the moment is also in the hands of an Aston Martin driver. It's Jürgen Walby from Sweden in the 47. making him comfortable on the second spot of the podium. Chris Spawn then, we've seen him all around the front ever since he's come on here. It's wonderful to see. Last time around, he didn't have the perfect race. Didn't quite get on the podium at Suzuka after getting himself a second place at the Hungaroring. Now he looks to come back strong in that 118. Carlo Vanderband is the Porsche P4 with the number 4 as well. West Coast Oregon eSenior wasn't looking too great until late during the qualifying when he was able to set himself up beautifully for this 45-minute race. Now he's sitting well on ahead, about 2 seconds of Jonathan Wood after making the pass here. The cool green was caught up and definitely benefited from the contact being made between the Ferraris ahead of them. Rudolf Stein then chasing. The Red Nose Racing number 14 driver here is currently in position number 6. Fastest lap for him is a 2:20.1. That puts him just exactly where he needs to be. If he can keep up, maybe they'll have a shot at bringing it closer to the top 5 here. Patrizio Ungaro, the SFR Italia, also has plans on his own. When he's coming across the line, he's probably going to set another 220 then. As he does so, he's looking quite well in terms of the pace. Craig Holmes then from Britain. The St. Osinner 109 is in 8th place. If you do recall, Craig Holmes actually, last time around, didn't have the greatest showing. I'll quickly have a look then. Yeah, Craig Holmes got 10 points for the 3rd time in a row. He's probably looking to net himself about 20 points if he can bring this story home. 9th place on his debut race, John Water and the Water Racing number 68 joining us here from the United States of America. He's making great use of the track and seems to have found the rhythm that he needs. With the 9th place, he would bring home loads and loads of points. Lars Eckert is 10th at the moment in the 696. You can already see been in a scrap or two during this race, but he's got some fantastic pace once you let him fly. He'll try to bring it back home. He's already got the top 10 and he's looking to dial in some more. Chris Baker then, that's the Aston Martin in purple and stylish blue colors you're seeing center screen here. It's the number 10 Rotec Racing. And Chris Baker is not too far away from the top 10 here. He'll hold back for now because Lars Eklund seems to go some good pace. Trying to stick to him. He's off. Who is that? That is Lars Eklund. I was just about to compliment the man, but then he puts it to the inside there. There's hardly any way for him to move. Let's go back 30 seconds and have a look. Oh, Lars, it was going so well. We were having a fantastic time watching you. But it looks like he stepped over the limits there, and that's basically the race over. Now on the brakes here for 3rd, the car comes, he tries to countersteer, he tries everything he can, but it just isn't in the limits, and it looks like, you see it there, the magical mirror, that already tells us right now in the live race, he's actually in the pit lane. There we find him. That's another retirement added to the list. Lars Eklund then, he was doing so well. That it's one oversteer that ruins his Sunday evening. Very unfortunate then. Bring it back then. Chris Baker now inherits that 10th place in number 10 Rotec Racing as well. David Noble is following up. He's been going and going. If I have a look, originally David Noble started in P17, so he did gain quite a few positions during the race here. Alistair Hughes now coming across the start finish line. It's P12. Chatting him, Peter de Jong. That's P13, as well as Christa Hjort, who is very much close by with Neil Bywater. It's the English driver who's trying to chase the American 823 Ferrari. And there's also Peter Buffsley in the picture there as well, trying to sneak in a little shot of this. Let's just have a quick look if the Porsche has an opportunity. Does not look like it. Christo Yours stays 14th, Bywater 15th, and it's P16. Not too far off the TRG Racing Ferrari of Mark Pocock. He'll be cheering on during football later as well. He's only got 13 minutes and then a little prep time to put himself in the shower, get the fan gear out, get the toots and whistles, and all the little flags. What sort of football items are we looking for? I'm not really an expert of any sort. I'm much more suited for this sort of racing. Much more at home here. It's P17, Dimitri Status. He's a little far off everyone right now. He's just doing his laps. He's just trying to make the most of the rest of this race here. Tony Whitten, P19. I think he's about a lap down at this point in time. Peter Wolfslin 2 laps down. It's P20. And let's jump back to the action. I've seen a little mistake here by Jonathan Wood. He lost some time. It's only 2:22 for him. Rudolf Stein did clear closer. He's inching closer. If we're having a look on the sector comparisons here, invalid lap there for Wood, and he's also losing some time. Lars was having a good race before the first incident. Yeah, there's not much he can do there really. Even if he does all of what he can and then some, it's just not really savable. Oh, Jonathan Wood now. Oh, that might cost him P5. Yeah, side by side here, but it looks like the AMG is already ahead, and that was a very clean move then. Stein, we saw it there in the prediction, in the sector time comparison. He was gaining big time. And that is quick work then. After the end of the straight, the Porsche has to concede, because the straight line speed was just not quite there, and he might get déjà vu from this, because Ongaro, Patrizio is his first name. That's the number 73. He's very close as well. With him running wide there, Jonathan Wood finds himself on the back foot. To the inside he goes, and that's an easy overtake for Patrizio Ongaro. Once again, good stuff there. He saw the gap. He made it work. And we do have to follow up in a second here, because it's getting very close for the lead actually. Jorgen Wolby and Andrea Caiola. Caiola has been dropping, making some mistakes. And if I'm not mistaken myself, that might be some damage as well. Not sure when that happened or where, but what stands is the point. He's certainly not in the best shape anymore. This lap is going to be a 2:20 as well, which is not what he was doing before. Let's have a look. Jorgen Wolby is already starting to put some pressure from the mirrors here, the TF Sport 47s. That would be fantastic. Jorgen Wolby, so far during the championship, hasn't won a race yet. And to be fair, with a position number 5, he did get very close at Barcelona. He got himself the second place there, second step on the podium during the first race of the season. And he also got 3rd at Donington. But he wasn't really close in that sense, as close, and this is he's gonna be biting his nails, because this might be his one and only shot so far during the season to bring home a win. Race victory is exactly what Jorgen Wolby would need to sweeten his deal during this weekend. He's got the pace, he's got some opportunities potentially as well. As long as Andrea Caiola makes a couple of mistakes, this could be a very exciting fight here for the race lead. Oh boy. Let's see if any of them are willing to pick up some track cuts to get some positions. Nikos reinstalled Windows in quali for Suzuka. Managed to do about 10 laps and get some points with P11. That's fantastic. That is really good. Oh, Jack, only just now saw your message. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that might have been something in real life. Usually you don't really see Peter Wolfsliner making erratic movements. He's got everything planned. He seems like the kind of guy who's got it all figured out, so must have been something of urgency. Right. Well, we're still very close to Kayola. Not too much happening here. I think that they've kind of found each other here. He's going very wide then. I don't think that's a warning. But Kayola also on the back foot now. Jorgen Walby setting himself up in that 47. This could get close to 20.2. It's a 220.3 then. It's close, but not very. And here let's check in with David Noble and Alistair Hughes, who have got each other, as well as Chris Baker on their sides. This is the train for P10. This is where the action is about to happen. This is where you can gain loads of points if you get it right. If you get a good move through here. Looks like he's definitely closing up. David Noble, just to reiterate with you, has been doing quite well, and I do also see that Jonathan Wood must have lost a couple of places just recently. I did miss that. He's now back in P8. Last lap for him at 2:29, so that must have been some form of mistake. Now side by side for the two of them, going to the helicam. David Noble has a good run here. He has an opportunity, but he's gonna back out of it. Does the sensible thing is now hoping for a straight line. Oh boy, he did not get a fantastic run now. Upper Rouge Radion. Now that is Alistair Hughes on his inside. David Noble from attacking going into defense. Going from the attacker to being attacked himself. He gets the door open. He looks to the inside then and does what is the most sensible thing. He just holds it there. Easy move, well executed. Alistair Hughes saw what he could do with it, and just took that position right away. One mistake, one straight line, and it seemed that Noble was focusing too much ahead. He's now dropping back another place there apparently, and there's somebody in the wall. That is Jonathan Wood then. Oh, that is disaster for Jonathan Wood and the cool green. He was doing so well all race. Oh, we have to go back 60 seconds to have a look what happened to him there. Oh, that is so rough. That is so rough for the cool green 71. Going back on into the replay here. So this is actually a side by side. You can't really see it all so well. Leaves the door open then for the number, I think Craig Holmes? No, that's not Craig Holmes. Can't be. Carl Banto. Not quite on the power as early. He's dropping back so much. Something with the pedals, perhaps. Doesn't really look like he's fighting all the way. That must be some difficulties. Now on the brakes, and that's just and that's a big collision there. I think must have been collected during the process and falls back to P15. So that's a very rough stop then in the barriers for Jonathan Wood. So unfortunate. Once again, he seemed to just somewhat slow down and then got re-ended. I don't know by who, but the attacker remains unknown for now. Otherwise, I don't think he would have had such a ferocious spin, such a major impact there. Trista Yod also with a drive-through. Don't think I mentioned that. So another race ended. Jonathan must have been some sort of picker outside of that. No, Jorgen Walby. He's gonna try it around the outside. Jorgen! You can't do that! Oh, he's late on the brakes. Is he gonna make it? No, he's gonna tuck just right back on behind him. Oh, look how close this is between the two. They're almost inseparable at this point in time. Jorgen Walby and Kayola, they're giving it their all, and Chris Vaughan is starting to catch up. These two have to figure it out. It's 3.5 minutes only left in this race. This is the only time where you have no time, you have no moment at all to focus on anything. No breathing, no water, all of your systems shut down because you have got to be racing. If you want to take this home, if you're Jorgen Walby right now, you want to take home your first victory in the GT3 Seniors Group number 1, he's certainly fighting. He's got him in his sights. Now he just needs to find the right opportunity. These two are such a good level. That's going to be absolutely difficult for him to make anything happen. But if you know the Jorgen Walby that I do, he'll keep on trying. He'll keep on coming back. And with 2 laps to go in this sprint race, I'm sure that there are going to be a couple more opportunities here. Now let's have a look up the hill. Barouche into Radion. This quick left-hander want to get the steering just right. Want to get the best exit you can. And Chris Bourne already catching up. 2 seconds only now. These two are holding each other up. Kayola knows that how much he has to defend now. Let's have a look. He's closing the gap to the inside. Not this time. He doesn't quite have it. Right on around into the second sector is where they go. Just so close together. Let's have a look what will be happening here. Defensive then for Kayola as they're heading into Brussels. Nowhere to run for Jorgen Walby. He's just going to be a sitting duck behind him. 1.9 seconds. Another 2 tenths shaved off for Chris Bourne, who's looking to make this a 3-way fight for the lead of the race. Now into the double left-hander here. Down the gears into third most likely. Want to get the traction right. Want to get the foot to the floor once again. That's something the Aston Martin absolutely nails through here. Now heavy on the brakes once again, because this is about to go down. This is one hell of a ride. It's so difficult to stay close in the second sector, and the fact that Jorgen Walby is able to do that tells you so much about the pace difference right now. Kayola is able to hold on. He can make the defense work, but this is the exit. This is one of the last opportunities, and Chris Bourne, he's there. It's 8/10. He is absolutely there. He's going to get involved. As long as there is no change here for Jorgen Walby going to the front, this is going to go down to the wire here in round number 10 of the eSeniors. My name is Nicholas Strauss. I hope you've got yourself strapped in, because otherwise you might be falling out of your chair with all this action. Wow. Let's have a look. Let's go and jump on board here, because this is the fight for the lead. It's just 50 seconds, and then it is going to be definitely the final lap of the race. Ooh, and to the outside there, Chris Bourne over judging what he can do on the brakes. Fortunately for both of them, Jorgen Walby and Chris Bourne, there was the evasion being made. So that gives them just a little bit of breathing room now up the hill, but it won't be much, because once again, he's definitely on there, jumping onto the rear wing of Andrea Kayola for you now, the FD Racing department. He's been doing such a fantastic job of defending here. He'll have to do it once more, and then into this final section once again. No mistakes, no room for error. If you have track warnings, now is the time to make sure you use them. You can get 3 for free, but if you get the 4th, that's going to be disaster for you. So now the time is up. This is definitely going to be the final lap of the race for them here. Now fighting all so closely. Bourne is there once again. 3, 4, 5 tenths is all that separates these 3 cars here. And up at the front, this is going to go down to the wire. This might be the best finish in the championship, Nikos. Absolutely. That is one hell of a Sunday afternoon or evening that you can spend with us, that you can spend right on track here in Spa. This is why the track is such a beloved fan favorite. You can get great racing all the way to the last lap. Now this is it. This is the sort of exit they have to focus on. Right into campus, and then it's going to go out into Stavelot on the brakes then. All 3 of them perfectly aligned. Who is going to get the power down? Who is going to get the best exit here? And who is going to be the bravest on brakes? Oh, have a look at this. That's a fantastic run now. They're going to be side by side. Kayola with the inside now is going to try and hold it there. Are they able to make it too wide now? Into Blanchimont. Boy, this is going to go down. There's almost contact. He went out wide and so deep then. It looks like Walby takes the lead here. Heavy on the brakes. Kayola lost the position, and he is not able to follow back. Oh, now with a switchback, can he make it work? Chris Bond now, he's going to have a fantastic run. He's going to be forcing him to the outside, but there's no room. Kayola cuts him off, so that means winning the race here at Spa. Jorgen Warby is going to be celebrating all the way in the TF spot. He just won his first race at the Group 1. Kayola did a fantastic job, but he couldn't quite follow through all the way to the end. He'll have to settle with second. Chris Bond then almost stole that second spot on the line, but he only has to settle with third. Then Carlo Van Brabant is in fourth. Rudolf Stein came across the line, fifth place for him. Patrizio Ungaro, sixth place. That's a fantastic run for him there, considering he started 13th tonight. Craig Holmes, then Saint Sinner driver number 109, is seventh. And with the debut race, he is gonna be celebrating well in the top 10. And welcome to John Walter here with the eSeniors. Such a great performance here. He'll be coming back for more. Ninth place then goes to David Noble. Chris Baker comes on 10th, very closely headed ahead of Alistair Hughes. It's Peter de Jong then. Great comeback there. He started well outside of the top 20 for this race, coming home in P12. Neil Bywater now with only one more turn to clear. I think Mark Pocock just got the move. Let's have a look back 30 seconds. What happened there? I think Mark Pocock just mucked him. Mucked Neil Bywater, because here he was still behind in this replay right now. Let's have a look. Mark Pocock then. He gets a good run out of here. Definitely using that last little track cut of his cheeky move there. He's got a good run, and late on the brakes, Mark Pocock then stamping on it. And it looks like the Porsche was going in a little too hot during the defense. He faked him out. Neil Bywater drops back, and Mark Pocock, what a last minute move, my man. What a great race move there, last second. Jonathan Wood now coming across the line. He's going to be taking on P15 then. Wonderful stuff there, and only last two to come across the line. DVT Starter, Sim Racing Montreal driver, is 16th here tonight at Spa. Now Krista Hjord will be 17th, where Tony Witten is ahead of Peter Wolfslehner, Lars Eklund, and then the organizers. The race. What an absolute fantastic race up at the front. If you have enjoyed it, make sure, I'm only seeing 4 likes out there. If you're watching this back perhaps as well, after being so close here out on the track, you have to drop a like for such a fantastic event being organized here by Michelle and Jeremy in cooperation with SimSport Solution. What an event tonight. Whoa, yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat as well. Miss Parnov, congratulations, Jorgen. Well deserved. He is in the chat here as well. Seeing a couple of likes being dropped. Thank you very much. Keep the support coming. I think that deserves some praise, because that driving was so fantastic. Such great defense, and I'm definitely looking forward to these driver interviews. I wonder what they have to say. We obviously don't quite know what happened to Peter Wolfslehner out there on the track, but what we do know for sure is that it was some great fighting all around, and especially at the front. What a photo finish, really. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. Peter as well. Mega broadcast. Lots of fun. And I'm sure you've been sitting there holding onto your chair for dear life. And we see it there from Jack Jacobs. You earned it. He really did. He was fighting so closely for 3, 4, 5 laps. That is gonna be your top 3. So it's Chris Bourne is in third, then Andrea Caiola, and winning his first race, Jorgen Walby. See what they have to say. Just quickly wait until everybody's in the green room so that I can move them on for an interview. We'll have a chat with the fastest lads of the bunch. So I don't think Jorgen is here yet. Maybe he'll join us in a moment. But for the time being, here we have your number 3. Congratulations, Chris Spawn. You've already been on the podium once. How does it feel to be back up there in 3rd place?
Honestly, it feels great.
Thank
you very much. Just like to say congrats to Jorgen, and I heard that Andrew had a few incidents there which caused him to slow down. I was just happy to be chasing down.
Yeah, things got really close there in the end. You almost had him on the exit there, but there was no room. You would have had to go way onto the grass. Super close finish. At what point did you realize that maybe I will have a shot at fighting here for P2 or maybe even a race win?
The last lap, I ruined the coming onto the last lap. I was hoping to get a good run up the Rouge, but I had braked myself into the first corner, which ruined that chance. And then I was like, okay, I'll settle for 3rd. And it come down to the last bit, and I was thinking, yeah, I'll stay here. I'm quite happy here. Then it got a bit tight, and I thought, do you know what? I think he's just had a little moment coming out the corner. I will go for it.
And go for it, you did. I think you had a fantastic race. So we already talked to you once before. Now we have 2 more rounds coming up. Do you think you'll have a good chance at finishing high up once again?
Hope so. I hope to be in the top 10. That's my aim, and if I can get any higher, that's even better. Top 5 is fantastic, but top 3, obviously, I know Petter had an incident somewhere online which definitely helped my call. So I did have a word with him saying, if you have any loose change to leave on the table, drop it our way and we can gain some points. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. you hear yourself saying, but we do have in here in the broadcast booth as well, Andrea Caiola. You were looking so strong for the race victory. There was some incidents. I do have to say congratulations for that work you put out there. You did really make your stay. It wasn't quite enough for the win, but 2nd place, is that worthwhile for yourself?
Well, to be honest, I'm really disappointed because first of all, I had a stutter with my PC. Apparently, I don't know if it was the server or not, but since lap 2, I started having like the FPS dropping, and at some point I was really playing like on a Atari of the 80s. So I was barely able to see the corners, but not fluid at all. Then got relaxed a little bit on top of that, and Alecom, of course, I went out, I think it was lap 12 or something, and then I damaged the car, and I had more than 6 seconds.
That's unfortunate, yeah.
And but congratulations to Jorgen. I tried my best to keep it behind me. Of course, I was almost 2 seconds lower than my pace, but
you did such a great job at defending, though. It was so good to see in the 2nd sector for multiple laps you were able to keep him behind you. What was your approach there? What was your secret?
No, see, I mean, it's difficult to overtake on the second sector, I think, and which of course keeping an eye on the track, another eye on the mirror, and so watching which kind of lines Jorgen was trying to take, and just try to, of course, protect myself and cover the interior as much as possible, and. But at the end, he deserved to, because he tried very hard, and at the end, he got the win. So happy for him. Not happy.
It was fair, yeah. It is his first race win in here as well. I'm sure you would have liked to make it a double after already winning in Suzuka, but I'm sure you'll in the end, if you're looking back on this, I think it was the racing action that made the evening worthwhile, and settling for 2nd place. I think you're still very well ahead of Carlo in terms of the fight for 2nd place in the championship overall. I think you did fantastic. So don't beat yourself up, and maybe the football that's happening or the soccer for some of us out there will sweeten the evening for you a little bit.
Hope so.
Jorgen Walby is in the chat, but not quite in the room in here. Not sure if they are interested in an interview.
He's celebrating.
Probably. He's opened up a bottle of champagne already.
He's covered in the stuff.
Fantastic. Well, in that case, I'll have a quick look. He's saying in the chat, very well done, Cariola. I pushed as hard as I could to catch you, and if I hadn't had that small mistake, you would have had the podium. So I think that's some nice encouraging words to end up the where to go for the interview. If you can head to the Discord and then into the green room. There's an open channel called the green room, which is a little further down the order. Actually, I think I can maybe... I think I can move him into here. There he is, Jürgen Wolby. It's your first race win in the Group 1. Congratulations. How does it feel?
That was really hard. I knew that Kaiola was really fast, and I tried to set up the car for an endurance race to be able to keep my pace up until the end, and actually it seemed like it worked. So even he had that small accident, I think he had the podium in easy, but he made a small mistake and I could catch up, and then I knew how hard it is to keep somebody at bay so close at the end of the race with worn tires. You're a little bit exhausted and all that, so I just tried to keep as close as I can, and yeah, it turned out to be a good strategy.
A good strategy indeed. I think you did just fine. Very patient as well, and really fair towards the end as well. At what point in time were you thinking, all right, well, I'm close now, but what was your thought process when it came to when do you want to do the overtake? Because time was definitely running low and you didn't quite seem to get past until the very end.
That is true, and I could see
Testing 2, 3. I don't think I can hear you right now, Jorgen.
Oh, okay. Now you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I thought that if I pushed as hard as I can, and I knew that there was this AMG behind me that was flying really fast, and he would catch us within the end or one lap until the end or something. So I didn't want to make too much, to be too much aggressive to try to make a pass, because I knew that we would both be slower, and then we had a 3-car competition at the end, and it actually turned out to be that, but he was really good at the end, both Kaiola and in the AMG. I'm so
Chris
excited. Yeah, Chris, really good racing from you as well.
Cheers, buddy. Congratulations to yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, Jorgen.
It was, I don't know how to say, this is such a new experience to me. I turned up to be 5th or 8th or 3rd, and suddenly I'm number 1. Okay, what should I say? I get a little bit,
You'll have to prepare something for next time, get your little speech in.
Yeah.
We did see you in 2nd place in Barcelona as well as 3rd in Donington. So maybe that's a trend you're hoping to bring back from the early days of the season. We obviously still have 2 rounds. We have Silverstone coming up, and we also have, of course, Monza. Is there one of the 2 tracks where you'd say you're more comfortable?
Silverstone, I definitely feel more comfortable. Monza is one of the worst tracks that I like at all on ACC or Race Room or in the sim racing world. It's so easy to mess up and crash. Some people say Bathurst. I like Bathurst a little bit better. I don't practice enough on Monza, I would say.
Right, but then, well, you do have a little bit of time still. Next week, obviously, is going to be Silverstone. I already mentioned it to the broadcast, or to all of our viewers watching out there. Actually won't be here. I'm actually going to be replaced by my Spanish friend Juan, who's going to take over the broadcast for next Sunday, and then we'll all see each other for the season finale. Thanks again, everybody, for such fantastic racing out there. Great drive, and you all have to pat yourself down a little bit with a dry towel, because that certainly got enticing, exciting, and all of the above. So have a wonderful evening, gentlemen, and I'll see you guys around in 2 weeks' time. But make sure you tune in next week when it's once again the eSeniors out there. This time it was Spa. Next week it'll be Silverstone. My name is Niklas Kraus. Have a fantastic rest of the evening.